Hello there and welcome to this video tutorial. I hope you all are doing well. In this video, we will discuss the second way of returning values from the tasks using Executors framework. Here, we will specifically focus on how to process the task's results in the order in which the tasks complete rather than the sequence in which the tasks are submitted or the sequence in which we retrieve the results. For this, we are going to use an interface called completion service. Completion service rides on top of an executor service and executes the tasks using it. It provides a method for executing callables. It allows for executing runnables too and provides one method for executing runnables that accepts a runnable and a result to be returned when the runnable finishes. The take method in this interface returns the future instance representing the next completed task. The call to take blocks if no task has completed yet. As soon as a task is completed, take returns the future instance corresponding to that task. After that, the result of the computation can be retrieved in the normal way from the future using the get method. If you do not want your call to block while retrieving the future of next completed task, you can use the poll method. It does the same thing as the take method but just does not block. If no task has completed yet when poll is invoked, it just returns null. JDK also provides a concrete implementation for this interface called Executor Completion Service that we are going to use in our explorations. Time to see all this in action now. I have already created a class here called Returning Values Using Executors Second Way by copying the Returning Values Using Executors First Way class that we created in the previous tutorial. Now, in this way, the first step is the same, that is, creating an instance of executor service. In the second step, instead of submitting the tasks to the executor service, we are going to create an instance of completion service and provide it the tasks for execution. Let's see how. As we are expecting integer types for return values, let us provide the type parameter as integer. The executor completion service takes an instance of executor service as parameter, which it uses for executing the tasks. Let us submit the tasks for execution now. Now this will not work as there is no method in the completion service that accepts a single runnable type of parameter. So let us comment it out here. We can still use the fifth task here. However, as the completion service is expecting an integer return value, we have to specify an integer here. Now I am going to remove this try catch block here that we had used to retrieve the results in a specific sequence in the previous tutorial. Instead, as the completion service already takes care of returning the results in the order the tasks complete, we just have to retrieve the results here in a loop. So let us code it in. The take method here returns the future of the next completed task, and the get method of the future returns the actual result of task execution. Now, if there is no completed task available when take is invoked, then it blocks till the next task is completed. So it can be interrupted and throws an interrupted exception. The get method of the future can also throw an interrupted exception as well as an execution exception in case the computation throws an exception. So we need to encapsulate this statement in a try-catch block. The code is complete for this class. Let us run it now. All the tasks have completed. As task 3 finished the earliest, its result has been printed ahead of others. Loop task A finishes the last, and its result 999 is printed last. Now, if you look at the sysouts in the output, result equal to 9, result equal to 7, etc. Just by looking at these lines, you cannot determine the task for which the line gives the result. There is no identification of the task printed in the sysouts. Till the previous tutorial, we have always been printing some sort of identification of the task also in the result line. Here, however, when the completion service gives us the future instance of the next completed task, we are unable to determine to which task the returned future belongs to. The only way to identify the task here is to make the task itself return its identity along with the result. As the task has to return two things now, its identity as well as the result. So let us make the task return a bean with two instance members. So for this purpose, I am going to create a new class called task result. Let us make it generic so that while creating an instance, we can specify the task ID type and the result type. Now let us generate the getters for the two members. Because this is a Java bean, as a good practice we should implement the hash code and equals to. And lastly, let us override the toString method too, so that the beans can easily be printed out in sysouts. So I am going to add some eye catchers here in the toString implementation. We now need a task that can work with task result. So for this, let us copy calculation task A and create a new class called calculation task B. Let us update its identity first. And let us update the call method. It now returns a task result instead of an integer. We need to update the return statement as well. So we need to update the generic type of the calculation task B as well. Okay. This class is complete now, and let us update the main class now. First of all, let us replace all instances of calculation task A with calculation task B. Secondly, we need to change the type argument of completion service. And thirdly, we need to change the result to be returned for the runnable task loop task A. And lastly, we need to update the sysout where we print the result. Just the tasks.take.get is sufficient here. This statement will invoke the toString method of task result and print it to the output. I think our class is complete now. Let us run it. There, the output seems to be much better now. The result itself now tells us about the task ID as well as the result. If your application needs to know which task gave which result, you can easily retrieve that information from the task result bean by invoking its getters. Here we had just needed to print both bits of information. For this, we took advantage of the toString method of task result that we had implemented to return the task ID and result embedded in a string. That's all from my side on this topic. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. See you in the next video now. Bye.